This is the Smart Buildings Academy podcast with Ethan Morris, episode number 508. Welcome to the Smart Buildings Academy podcast. In today's episode, we'll be covering the definitive guide to BACnet Secure Connect. All the information covered in this episode can be found on our website at podcast.smartbuildingsacademy.com/508. Our learning objectives for today's episode are going to be to define and understand the fundamentals of BACnet SC, to explore the differences between BACnet over IP and BACnet Secure Connect, and then we'll learn about cybersecurity benefits and compliance with BACnet Secure Connect. And then we'll review some best practices for implementing BACnet Secure Connect in your systems. And then we'll discover some migration strategies, and we'll look at a case study. So to start off today's episode, let's define what BACnet Secure Connect is. BACnet SC, or BACnet Secure Connect, is an update to the BACnet protocol that enhances security and streamlines communication by using modern IT security standards like TLS 1.3. If you're not familiar with TLS 1.3, TLS stands for Transport Layer Security, and TLS 1.3 is a networking protocol that ensures secure encrypted communication over IP networks, making it compatible with existing BACnet systems while being more IT friendly. So now that we know what it is, what are some benefits of BACnet Secure Connect? Well, for starters, it's a new standard, and anytime we get a new standard, obviously there's going to be better support for it. It's going to be the most readily available. It's going to be easy to get a hold of tech support or any kind of help if you need it. Then next thing here is that it uses standard web technologies that we're using today. So examples of this would be TLS, which is what we just discussed, HTTPS, and WebSockets. And then it also enhances security and interoperability between controllers. And then the last point here is that it's designed for modern IT infrastructure. So when we're trying to implement this with our IT department, it just makes things a lot smoother. It's a little bit closer to most IT departments' guidelines. So it just makes it a little bit easier on us and them when we're trying to integrate BACnet Secure Connect into our systems. All right, so now let's talk about why did we need why was there a need for BACnet Secure Connect? So why was it created? The first thing is because there were increased cybersecurity concerns. And the couple of points I have here for this is that BASs are becoming more increasingly interconnected with IT networks, and that makes them potential entry points for any cyber attacks. And then next thing is that unsecured communication protocols like BACnet over IP can be vulnerable, especially when you're traversing different networks. So we needed something to handle all the increased cybersecurity issues that we were coming across. So then the next thing here is IT and OT convergence. So if you're not familiar with what IT or OT is, I'll go over that with you real quick. So IT is information technology. So this is primarily focusing on managing and processing of digital information. And then on the flip side of that, operational technology is more along the lines of like us as a BAS tech. So it's focusing on monitoring and controlling physical hardware and devices. So things like controllers or sensors and things like that. And then the issue here is that as we move along in the future, more and more of our BAS controllers are turning into IT assets. So this last point here is basically stating that. So as we go down the line, IT and OT kind of get more. They work closer together. Things are working closer the same now. So the line starts to blur there, and when that line blurs between IT and OT, it becomes crucial that we make sure that we're securing both aspects of our building operations. So that's on the IT side and the operational side as well, so the OT side. Okay, and then moving on here, the last thing here for why BACnet Secure Connect was created there was a big need for more secure communications. So the points I have is it was created to provide a secure encrypted communication method for BAS devices, addressing the need for stronger cybersecurity within these systems. And then the next point is BACnet over SC can be integrated into existing BACnet systems, allowing organizations to enhance their security posture without a complete overhaul to their system. So there's ways that you can integrate your BACnet over IP devices into BACnet Secure Connect. It's basically just adding another level of security onto our BAS systems. So we needed more secure communications, and that's why BACnet Secure Connect was created. All right, so now we're going to take a look at some differences between BACnet over IP and BACnet Secure Connect. And as you can see from the slide, there's not a lot here in the means of BACnet over IP, but let's go through it real quick. So BACnet over IP uses broadcasts and VPNs for security. So as you guys know, I'm sure there's some of you that have VPNs on your phone or on your laptop for work. That's just an extra added step to us that are working on the project. So, it slows things down a little bit, but then it also is another added level for IT departments as well. So they have to manage that VPN, give you the access, and they have to set all this stuff up. So if you're not someone that's worked closely with that IT department in the past, it could be hard to get on their system. But there's a great thing happening that will help us, and that thing is called BACnet Secure Connect. So here we see the BACnet Secure Connect does not use broadcasts, okay? It uses these things called hubs, which we'll go into what hubs are here in just one second. But think of it as it's kind of like a virtual switch, pretty much. So it's what enables all the different encrypted communications to send and receive. So it doesn't use BACnet Secure Connect doesn't use broadcasts. It uses hubs. And then it's also TLS encrypted. So if you remember TLS 1.3 is the big draw with BACnet Secure Connect, because we can encrypt our data packets now. So a couple things with BACnet SC is that it reduces IT complexity. So this is part of what I was saying with using the VPN on BACnet over IP. It's just a little bit more work for the IT department and us, and so losing that is just one less step we have to worry about here. And then also on the other side of this is that BACnet SC helps us improve performance in our large-scale systems. So huge buildings, big commercial sites, it just makes things communicate a little bit quicker, faster. Things are more secure. It's just overall great thing. So that's the differences between BACnet over IP and BACnet Secure Connect. And again, guys, remember, all your BACnet over IP devices, so your BACnet IP devices or controllers, you can bring them into BACnet Secure Connect. You're allowed to do that. The only thing that's changing is encryption, and it like I said, it secures your communications a little bit more. All right, so now let's talk about the key components of BACnet Secure Connect. So now we were talking about hubs in the last section there. So now we're going to dive into telling you exactly what they are, what they do. So hubs in a BACnet Secure Connect system is the central point for all BACnet SC communication and device authentication. Okay, it directs network traffic and manages device discovery and registration. And this is typically a logical function, so it's all software based. But it can still use existing switch-based Ethernet and other IP infrastructure for data transfer. So this is what I was saying there in that previous slide. BACnet IP controllers and devices are still going to be compatible with BACnet SC. So great thing here. But the big takeaway for the hubs is to remember that it's a logical function. It's software based. It's not a physical switch or anything like you would think of with a BACnet IP system. Okay, so that's hubs. The next thing here are nodes. And I don't, if any of you guys know anything about access control, some of those controllers have node counts on them, things like that. So nodes here in this instance on BACnet Secure Connect, nodes are the devices that connect to the hub. So one controller would be a node. It includes various building automation devices, things like controllers, sensors, and user interfaces. So this could also be workstations as well, guys. So that's nodes. Next thing is the TLS certificates. And again, this is the big idea with BACnet Secure Connect, is being able to encrypt these data packets. So TLS certificates, BACnet Secure Connect uses TLS encryption to secure communications between devices, ensuring confidentiality and network integrity. Digital certificates are used for device authentication and authorization. So without those certificates, you're not getting access. Okay. So that's the big idea here with the certificates and encryption is it's basically one of those things of if you don't have access, you're not getting in. Sorry about your luck. So that's TLS certificates. And then the last thing here for key components of BACnet Secure Connect are WebSocket communications. Now, this has also been a protocol for a while. So this is tying back into existing systems and still using older protocols to communicate. So WebSocket communication. This refers to the underlying communication protocol used to establish secure, persistent, and full duplex connections between BACnet SC devices. Okay, so this is talking about the, it's like that last slide we were talking about, the TLS and HTTPS and the WebSockets. This is what it's talking about. It's just an older protocol that's still being used and can be used with BACnet SC in the device communications. All right, so now let's talk about cybersecurity advantages. So there's a few things here we can talk about when we talk about some advantages for cybersecurity. The first thing is encryption, and I've said it many times already in the episode, but encryption's the big thing with BACnet Secure Connect. Again, just makes things way more secure. So encryption, end-to-end encryption of communications, TLS 1.3, between devices. Which makes it more difficult for unauthorized parties to intercept and decipher sensitive data. So again, security. It's what it's all about. Number 2 here on cybersecurity advantages is authentication. This is where it would require devices to present digital certifications for authentication. So again, without those certificates, you don't get access. Ensuring only trusted devices can join the network. Okay. So if a controller doesn't have the proper certificate, it's not going to authenticate. It's not going to talk. No communication. Number 3, secure communication. BACnet SC replaces the older UDP protocol with WebSockets over TCP/IP, which is more reliable and aligns with modern networking standards. Excuse me, and aligns with modern IT networking standards. Number 4 is BACnet over IP compatibility. This is what I was talking about there a little bit ago. So BACnet SC Secure Connect can be integrated into existing BACnet IP networks. So the great thing here is that you can do this kind of like a retrofit almost. So start with a few controllers here and there and start upgrading them into the BACnet SC. Again, we're going to talk about that a little bit too when we get into implementation, but there's going to be a lot of back and forth between you and your IT department. So getting to know this stuff, being really familiar with it's going to help you out a bunch when it comes time to upgrade to this stuff. So BACnet over IP compatibility, everything's still good to go with BACnet over IP and Secure Connect. Just they work great. So number 5 here is defense in depth. Okay, so remember we're thinking about cybersecurity things here. So defense in depth is says that BACnet Secure Connect is designed to be part of a comprehensive defense in-depth cybersecurity strategy, complementing other security measures like firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and access controls. Okay, so this isn't just going to be a one-time thing for building automation controls. This is also going to deal with access controls and possibly some lighting stuff in the future as well, which we've also got some future aspects to look at here later on in the episode too. So that's those are some advantages when we're talking about cybersecurity when we're doing BACnet Secure Connect. All right, now let's talk about some implementation considerations. So these things are these are the things you're going to have to think about before you guys start trying to take off with upgrading to BACnet Secure Connect. Consider these things first. So IT departments, and again, this is what we were talking about a little bit ago, but BAS and IT teams must collaborate for successful integration when we're upgrading to BACnet Secure Connect. And I've got a case study in here that we're going to take a look at in a little bit that shows that collaboration is going to be very, very, very important between BAS and IT teams. The next thing is certificate management. BACnet Secure Connect relies on digital certificates for device authentication, which requires a well-defined public key infrastructure, or PKI. Managing these certificates, including their issuance, renewal, and revocation, is crucial and can add complexity. So we have to make sure that there's a little bit of a knowledge thing here with this too. So it's going to take knowledge from you as the BAS professional, as well as IT departments. They're also going to have to be in the know on this stuff as well to make it a little bit easier. This stuff can get a little bit complex, so having the knowledge, being confident in what you're talking about and what you're working on is important. Third thing is redundancy. A single point of failure exists due to the hub and spoke architecture with BACnet SC. So we can fix that by using what's called a failover hub. This is what provides redundancy, and it can be configured to take over if our primary hub fails. So this is something that has to be set up. This isn't just comes in a well-packaged software. You have to do it all, set it all up, make it all right. And again, this ties back in with IT department collaboration as well. So a failover hub is what gives us redundancy in our BACnet Secure Connection network. The failover hub is always active and ready to accept connections. So if the primary hub fails, this failover hub will step in its spot and then start accepting all these connections that the primary hub should have been connected to. And then the fourth thing for implementation considerations is device compatibility and upgrades. So any new devices, BACnet Secure Connect can integrate with both new BACnet Secure Connect native devices or BACnet Secure Connect ready devices. And it can also, it's also compatible with existing BACnet devices as well, so BACnet IP devices. Yeah, it's also backwards compatible with existing BACnet over IP devices. So these are things you have to consider when you're talking about upgrading these systems. You just have to take all these things into consideration, make sure that you're well lined out before job process starts. And a big thing on this is going to be getting in meetings with your IT personnel and figuring out responsibilities and roles for everyone, getting those situated before the job even starts. Checking drawings and engineering specs, make sure that everything's where it's supposed to be. You have to line out all this stuff before you go changing things, and everybody has to be on the same team, on the same page all the time, or you're going to run into problems. All right, let's move on. Okay, so now migration strategies. We talked about implementation considerations, so now let's talk about some migration strategies. So phased implementation. When you do this, do phase-based implementation for these. So begin by integrating BACnet Secure Connect into small segments of your network. So this is what I was saying a few minutes ago. If you want to do this, start with one small section of your building and just upgrade them to BACnet SC. And then just do them section by section. Especially if you have a large building or multiple buildings, like in a campus, like a college setting maybe. Start small, work your way up. Do them... Start with 5 or 10 controllers and then do another 5 or 10 later. And then with that initial 5 or 10 that you do, make sure you understand how they operate, make sure that they work good, make sure you're confident with what you're looking at, and then move on to the next 5. And then as you go on, you'll become more knowledgeable with BACnet SC and the controllers, and it should get easier for you as you continually upgrade. Begin by integrating BACnet SC into small segments, and then prioritize the high-risk devices and secure them first. So to me, a high-risk device would be something like an access control supervisory device. So something that's handling secure, like building security, people coming in and out, or alarms or things like that. I would make sure to prioritize those first. Make sure that you upgrade those. Those are in your first round of upgrades. So prioritize high-risk devices first, and then gradually upgrade or replace older, less secure devices with newer SC-ready devices. So this just ties in with just starting small. Just gradually do them. Like I said, 5 to 10 at a time. Not even that. You could do one at a time if you're not comfortable with it, or you don't have a lot of support. Do one at a time. If that one doesn't work, try and figure out how to fix that one, and then move on to the next one. And then as you get comfortable with them, then start doing 2, 3, 4 at a time, or 5 at a time. Just keep adding, and your knowledge will get greater, and you'll get more confident too. So that's where we're talking about phased implementation. Next thing we're going to look at is BACnet routers and gateways. So we would use BACnet routers to bridge communication between BACnet SC networks and existing IP and MSTP networks. So this is talking about taking a router to have all of our different comm protocols talk together on the same network. So that would be Secure Connect, IP devices, and MSTP devices. The next thing here is that BACnet SC is backwards compatible, which allows us the use of routers to connect existing BACnet devices to the secure BACnet SC network. This is just talking, This is just talking about BACnet SC. We still have the ability to tie in with our BACnet IP and BACnet MSTP devices as well. So that's BACnet routers and gateways. The next thing here is potential challenges that you might have when we're doing upgrades. So complexity and cost, that's the big one. That's probably the driving factor for most buildings when doing upgrades. Is it's just an added cost that they don't feel that they should do. But complexity and cost here. So BACnet SC introduces complexity related to encryption and certificate management, which might require staff training and potentially increase costs for upgrades. So you may have more training time in this as well. So these are all things that you need to think about and talk with your leadership and figure these costs in beforehand. Next thing is the performance considerations. We would evaluate potential performance overhead due to the encryptions that we've added, and then ensure the real-time systems aren't negatively impacted by any of this either. And then the third thing here is widespread industry adoption. So this is a new standard. Adoption is going to take time. And so make sure that you're considering vendor support and product availability when you're talking about upgrading to BACnet SC as well, because it may be a little bit harder at first than you think it is. With it being a new standard, yes, you'll probably get some pretty decent support on it. But if manufacturers aren't making controllers yet, or they're not they're not producing them in a large capacity, then it may be hard to get these controllers. So it's going to be harder to do the upgrades. And if there's not a large number of these controllers, they may cost a little bit more too. So this all ties back into the complexity and cost section as well. So all these things are really, really, really good things to think about before we even set off trying to do upgrades to this. All right, next up, we're going to look at a case study. So this is kind of what it would look like, real world case. When we would go to do, like, let's say we wanted to upgrade to 5 or 10 controllers in a building. So this is we're looking at that in this instance here. So case study here is we're looking for a successful BACnet Secure Connect deployment. Okay, so we're upgrading. So the background here is it's a large commercial building with BACnet over IP controllers, and it's faced with IT security restrictions and outdated devices. So IT department has went through some things and saw some security risks from our system, and they don't like it. So we have to do something to get within the IT department's guidelines. So when we start out here in our findings section, the very first thing we have to do is a project overview. Okay, so the first thing we look at is drawings, specifications, anything to get a understanding of the job and what our scope would be for this too. And this isn't just for us. This is also for the IT department as well, because they also have to know what their scope's going to be, so their job, and then they also have to understand what's happening, what we're trying to do, what the goal of this whole process is. So that's all part of the project overview. Okay. Next thing here are the challenges. So to get IT approval, we have to have all of our controllers and our system has to align with their guidelines. Has to be within their guidelines, or they're not gonna give us approval to get on their system. So, or on their network, excuse me. And then the second thing here is that we must also plan for any existing or legacy devices. So if we have any existing devices that are okay, let's say in this instance they said you have 20 controllers in the building and 5 of them are outdated and they're security concerns. We need you to either do something with them, upgrade them, take them out, whatever you got to do, but they're a mega security risk. Um, so we would have to plan for, or excuse me, if those 5 devices that they said were bad are the 5 we're replacing. But these other ones are okay, and they're probably still BACnet over IP or MSTP devices, but they're fine. They're not a security risk, so those stay. So the other challenge here is that we have to plan to integrate those BACnet IP and MSTP devices into our BACnet Secure Connect system as well. So that's the other challenge here. So we see the challenges, and then we move on to what our solutions would be for this. So in order to get our approval from the IT department and upgrade our controllers, we made use of hybrid networks to support existing systems. So this is a hybrid network would be, in this instance, talking about we've got controllers that are BACnet SC, we've got controllers that are BACnet IP, and then maybe some that are BACnet MSTP too. So a hybrid network is just multiple different protocols on the network talking together. So by us making use of that hybrid network, so all of our controllers are communicating and they're all secured and encrypted now, they gave us approval for our controllers, so everything's online now. And that obviously we align with their guidelines to get their approval through this too. So those are our solutions to this. So then big takeaways from this case study is that upgrading to the BACnet Secure Connect gives us enhanced system security, which is what the IT department was looking for here, right? That was the initial concern. And then it also allows for more simplified management of the system and its components. So it just makes things a little bit easier on not only us as the BAS people, but on the IT professionals as well. So it just makes things a little bit easier for everybody. So that's a case study. All right, and then we look at getting into some best practices here. So some best practices that you need to remember when you're looking at upgrading from these old systems to BACnet SC is to get the IT departments involved early in the process. And this ties in with what I was talking about in the case study about the job scope and IT people understanding the job. So they need to get in. You need to get them involved early in the process. Honestly, probably before you even sit down in a meeting, start having talks with them. Let them know where your head's at, what your all's ideas are, just so they're in the loop. They're on the same page as you guys. That's really, really important to get the IT departments involved early. Okay. The next thing here is to always employ the TLS encryption for secure communications. Remember, this is the big draw with BACnet Secure Connect, right? So TLS encryption, it's encrypting our data packets, our communications between all of our controllers on the network. That encryption is the cybersecurity part. So that's what's making things so secure. So if you're not employing this, then really not using BACnet SC to its full potential. So make sure you're employing those TLS encryptions. The next thing is to use digital certificates for device and user authentication. Remember what I said. It's not just these devices aren't just controllers on BACnet SC. It can also be workstations. So we have to make sure that these certificates are set up for not only the devices but also for our workstations and any user accounts that are on those workstations as well. And then the last thing here is to manage certificates effectively and maintain traditional security measures like firewalls and VLANs when you're doing your transitions from the old BACnet IP or MSTP to the BACnet Secure Connect. So remember that there's going to be transitions in this whenever you're upgrading, and you need to make sure that the old style stuff like firewalls and VLANs are still being used in that transition, so you still have some form of security when you're doing the upgrades. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about the future of BACnet Secure Connect. So BACnet Secure Connect is poised to play a significant role in the future of building automation systems by enhancing the overall cybersecurity of your systems. So looking ahead, a few things that we can pretty much plan for BACnet Secure Connect is integration with cloud and Internet of Things. So if you guys don't know what the Internet of Things is, it's basically referring to all the sensors, all the devices that you can have on a network, and how they communicate together. So integration with cloud and IoT, that's going to be a big thing coming up. Next thing here is going to be increased industry adoption. You're going to have, as this gets more widespread, it's just like any other protocol that comes out. BACnet over IP came out and it spread like wildfire. It was much easier to work on. It was much easier to set up and configure. And this is going to be, this is kind of an addition onto BACnet IP, because we're still using the physical infrastructure of these networks. So still using Cat6 cables and Ethernet switches. You're still using all that stuff. The only thing that's really changing here is encryption. We're encrypting our communications now so that we're getting that cybersecurity. So we're going to have more adoption, more and more industry, more and more companies in the industry, organizations are going to adopt this. So we're going to see it take off here in the next few years. I feel pretty confident. Again, big draw with BACnet SC is the enhanced cybersecurity frameworks. Again, that's like thing number one with BACnet SC is cybersecurity, cybersecurity, cybersecurity. And then lastly is the standard evolution and updates. So with anything new, you're going to get a plethora of updates and fixes. You just got to make sure that you're staying on top of those things as they come out. So now let's look at some future considerations. So device-to-device security. So further enhancements to BACnet Secure Connect may include some security features to strengthen the overall security posture of your system. Cybersecurity expertise. This was part of what I was talking about a little bit ago too, where we're gonna have to gain some knowledge on some of this stuff too before we go implementing as well. But cybersecurity expertise, engineers and facility managers are going to need to develop expertise in implementation, managing, and expanding BACnet Secure Connect systems to maintain a secure and viable BAS. So everybody's going to have to stay on top of gaining knowledge about this. It's like anything else. Don't ever think you know everything about it. Always strive to learn more. Same thing with BACnet SC. It's going to be changing, and it's going to be updating and upgrading. So just stay on top of it, learn as much as you can. And then the third thing here for future considerations is the Cybersecurity Acceleration Program. So BACnet International is launching programs to support OEM implementation of BACnet Secure Connect. So if you guys didn't know, ASHRAE are the ones that implemented BACnet Secure Connect, or they created BACnet Secure Connect. Because we needed more cybersecurity measures in our BAS system. So BACnet International is launching programs to support OEM implementations. So again, it's going to get widespread. It's going to spread like wildfire. So just get familiar with it, start looking into it, and you'll probably start having to upgrade your systems here before too long anyway. So that's the future of what we think the BACnet Secure Connect is going to look like. All right, everybody. So let's wrap up today's episode with some final takeaways. So in summary for today, we learned that BACnet Secure Connect is a secure, future-ready protocol. We learned that it's critical for information technology and operational technology convergence. Remember, we're getting closer and closer to our devices being considered IT assets. So this convergence is happening right before our eyes right now. All right, and then we have it supports a regulatory compliance. Obviously, ASHRAE created it, so it's going to be compliant. And then lastly here is that it ensures safer, smarter building automation. So again, with the TLS 1.3 encryption, everything's just more secure, makes everybody happy, healthy. So that wraps up today's episode. Thank you for listening to the Smart Buildings Academy podcast. I hope you learned something from today's episode. If you found this episode valuable, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. As always, this will be available on our website at podcast.smartbuildingsacademy.com/508. Again, this will be available on our website at podcast.smartbuildingsacademy.com/508.